channel. My name is Alexandra, and today's video I'll be talking about my A-levels and explaining why I decided to take them at the age of 22. So I'm just going to go through the background really and why I dropped out of college the first time. So I was living with my mum and my brother at a time, and during June of 2016 we moved to West Sussex. So that was halfway through all my GCSE exams. So, which meant that when I went to college that same year, I literally knew no one. So I was very anxious about going, as I knew no one, and I find it quite hard to make friends because I get so anxious about talking to people, especially new people. Like, that makes my anxiety so bad. So during my first year of college, which I went to in 2016, I failed GCSE maths, so I had to do that again for the first year, and then I just did art and design alongside it because I quite like art, so I thought that would be the best course to do. And also because I didn't, even though I got 5 GCSEs, because I didn't get maths at a grade C, I was very limited with choice and which courses I could do due to that. I remember being so upset that I couldn't choose the courses that I wanted to do. I remember being on the phone to my mom literally crying because I was like, I cannot pick the courses I want to do, and I'm not going to enjoy art. But in the end I did really enjoy art. I had a couple friends in art class which I made after the first couple weeks, but then I managed to find other friends through the friends that I've met. So after a couple months I had a huge group of friends that I would constantly sit with. A couple of them I actually thought were my best friends. I mean, they're not my best friends, they are my best friends now, but okay. So after the first year I managed to pass both my courses, so I got a grade C in maths, and I think I was borderline on the distinction for arts, but I think I got a merit and distinction maybe, I can't really remember. But that meant that because I passed maths, I could then choose the courses that I actually wanted to do. So I decided to take A-level sociology, psychology and photography. So for the first 6 months of those courses I really enjoyed it. I was getting A's in my sociology, and I just found especially photography so much fun. But then the last 6 months it was when it started going downhill for me. At that time I suffered with really bad mental health, even though I never had a sick day and I was studying like mad. I did have some days where I didn't want to study because I had no motivation to do so due to my mental health. And all of my grades in each subject decided to drop because I wasn't putting in that much attention due to my mental health. It got to the point that I was getting U's in all my subjects except for sociology. For some reason I maintained my A in sociology, but I was getting U's in both psychology and photography, which then made my mental health worse as well, because I kept thinking, I am not good enough for this, I am too dumb, I am not smart enough to take these subjects. Another thing that was making my mental health quite bad at the time was that even though it was technically my first year doing A-levels, all my friends were in their second year of A-levels. Because when I was doing my first year of college, I was doing the GCSEs that I needed to get for my A-levels, and all my friends that I made were doing their first year of A-levels, if that makes sense. So even though I was doing my first year of A-levels, all my friends were doing the second year, and it made me really anxious that they were all leaving and that I had to make friends again, because I was thinking, I found it quite hard to make friends. My mental health is so bad at the moment, I don't think I can actually make other friends. So in August of 2018, after I turned 18, I decided, I am not going to go back. I am hating it. I really need to focus on my mental health at the moment and after that, and I'm not going to be doing that if I go to college. So in September of 2018, I decided to go to college and drop out. I was able to drop out because I was 18 and I was legally an adult and I legally did not have to go back to school. I talked to my friends about it and my mum about it, and they were all fine with it, thankfully. Okay. So in September 2018, I had a job interview to work as a care assistant in a care home for adults with learning disabilities, and I went with it. So my mum works for the same company, and I thought, I'm just gonna work and see what my future holds. At that time, I wanted to do care full time, so I thought, I'm probably gonna stay in care. I'll just work my way up to become a manager, and I'll just do that simples. I am now going to talk about why I decided to go back to college. So a couple years ago, I think it was during lockdown or towards the end of lockdown, I decided that I do want to do my A-levels again. Like, my mental health has settled down, I'm in a much better place, and I decided, I'm going to do my A-levels. But at that time, I was with my ex, and unfortunately, that relationship was not the greatest. So I did not have the income to be able to afford going to college, because all the courses I was looking at was all online, which tends to be pretty pricey. So I did not have the income to be able to pay that off or pay towards it. So I just thought, I'll just go back to my original plan, which is just working in care and working my way up. And then my manager gave me the opportunity to do my MVQ3 in health and social care, and I said yes, I do want to do that. So then I started thinking about what I really wanted to do if I did not want to stay in care, and the jobs I wanted to do all required me to have my A-levels. So I thought, I'm actually gonna think about my future at this point, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my A-levels, so then I can actually get a job that I really enjoy and that I really like. So at the end of last year, at around November, December time, I started looking into my A-levels and which colleges will allow me to do my A-levels. And after researching it for about a month or so, I found the right college provider for me. So I started my A-levels at the end of January this year. So now I am just going to talk about how I found my college provider. So I am with ICS Learn. Like, for me and my budget, it is the most affordable one out there. Some of the ones that I looked at were charging almost triple the price I would have to pay, and for me that isn't affordable, especially that I rely mostly on doing overtime as well to get more money in, so that wouldn't be doable at all. I also looked at going to night school and going to college face-to-face part-time, but all the courses that I had, weren't the ones that I wanted to do, or you can only do a couple at a time. So after contacting a couple of the online college providers and getting as much information out of them as I can, I then went with ICS Learn. So I think that ICS Learn is quite affordable for me. So I was able to pay a deposit when I first processed all the A-levels I wanted to do, and now I pay the same sum of money each month for the next 12 months. And I also have a deal where if you choose to take 3 A-levels, then I think you get like a 15% discount, maybe? I can't remember. I'm not too sure if that deal is all the time or it's just a Christmas deal type of thing. But that also meant that I got a tiny bit more money off on the overall price. So yes, I paid the deposit, which was about $160, and now I pay about £66 a month for the next 12 months. So my last payment should be January or February last year. But overall, like, it did take me, like I said, a whole month to actually decide on which college was the thing for me or was right for me. Like, the only issue with going to college face to face is that because I work shifts, like, I can't guarantee that I will have the same days off each week. And because normally we do finish quite late as well, between 7:30 and 8:30, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to actually make it to night school as well if I went along that path. So if you do go to like a public college, I'm not too sure what they're called, someone's going to call them a public college. If you do go to one of them, then you can actually apply for an advanced learner loan. But because I went with a private provider, I did not qualify for the advanced learner loan. Like, I emailed all of the online ones and I said that they do not take the advanced learner loan, which meant that I did have to pay the deposit and the monthly fee as well, which I don't mind. At the end of the day, how I think of it is that I am doing this to benefit my future. I'm doing it to benefit myself, so I do not mind putting a bit of extra money aside for it each month if it's just going to benefit me and my future. So now I'm also going to talk about the flexibility of it. So what I like about doing my A-levels online is that I can do it in my own time, which I love, as that means that I can fit it around working full time, and I can fit it around all my other social things that I need to do, like catching up with friends, meeting up with family. So I can fit it around everything else that I needed to prioritize in my life, which was the main thing for me, was definitely like fitting it around work, as I cannot afford to have the next 2 years off to do my A-levels. I do have to work. So for me, that was definitely a pro, as it's so flexible. What I also like about it is that you do not have a time frame for the units or any mock exams. You can do them in your own time. It doesn't matter if you take, let's say, 2 months to do one unit. Like, there is no time limit at all. And the one that I'm with, so it is a 2-year course, but if you need more time after those 2 years, then you can discuss it with them and they'll give you the options on what to do. I'm not too sure what the options are, as I've literally been doing it for like 3 months, but the option is still there of, hey, I haven't finished my 2-year course, can I please get an extension on it? And they will be able to talk to you about what the next steps are for you to do that. Which I also find is so beneficial, especially if you have life happening, because sometimes life does get in the way. So that is definitely a pro for me. So next I'm going to talk about cost. So I did briefly talk about cost, but I want to go into more detail here. So like face-to-face college, like I believe they have two options of you either paying for them, which tends to be slightly cheaper than going to online college, or you can apply for an advanced learner loan for the government, which will just cover the price of the courses that you want to take. So that's definitely the cheaper option. And then you have the option of doing your A-levels online, which I went with. So they do tend to be pricier, and you do have to look around to see which provider is the cheapest. But like I said, it took me a month to actually look into this and compare the prices. Like I had to email like customer service and be like, hey, I want to take these 3 courses. How much will it be? Do you take the advanced learner loan? Is there a deposit? How much do I need to pay monthly? And how long do I have to pay monthly for? And because I emailed them and found out as much information as I could, I then found ICS Online, which for me is the most affordable of all the online courses. So for me, that was the most perfect, because everything's so expensive now. Like if you have to save money, then you save that money. Okay, so I'm now going to talk about the syllabus. So I am not too sure if this is going to be the same with all the online providers. I can only talk about my experience with ICS Online, and so far it's been I've had a really good experience with them so far. Like I said, I'm only 3 months in, so it could change in 6 months, in a year's time, but at the moment my experience is quite good with them. So yes, the syllabus. So once I applied and I was enrolled to the course, they sent me over everything that I needed to do or know before my courses started. Like if I needed to get any textbooks. So turns out I only needed textbooks for psychology and sociology. With law, the textbook is optional due to how lengthy the course is. So I don't have the law textbook yet, but I'll probably get in a couple more months or a few more months, especially towards the end of this year when I'm going to be super strict with studying and revising, so I'll probably do that then. So my sociology book was $14.99. I did manage to find it pre-owned and it's in really good condition. And my psychology book was, I think it was something like $35.99. Like I couldn't find the psychology book pre-owned, so I had to get it brand new. And they also like tell you which textbook they advise for you to get, which I found was super useful, especially in the lessons. They'll refer back to the textbook as well, like chapter 2, section 2, read this. So which I really like, because I do love doing textbook stuff for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just a bit weird apparently. So the website, you have each of your courses, and once you click onto that, they will have the units. So from 1 to however units there are. So what I've been doing is that at the moment I've done unit 1 in all my subjects, and I'm just halfway through doing my mock at the moment for each subject. I've done law and psychology, so I'm just studying for my sociology. And then after you pass your mocks, or if you pass your mocks, the progress then goes up. So at the moment I'm 6% through my law A-level, so you can see the progress as well. And the other thing that I also got to help with all the units was that I got notebooks, and I got folders for each of my subjects, and I just went crazy with flashcards, highlighters, pens, anything that will help me remember all the unit stuff and help me study as well. I think I went to Tesco's. Like, it wasn't that expensive. I think I only spent like £15. I think another useful thing for you guys to know if you are debating doing your A-levels or not online is how tutors and teachers work. So before you start your courses, you are assigned to teachers in every single one of your course. So I have a sociology teacher, a law teacher, and so on. So you will have their email as well, and maybe their phone number. I can't remember if you have their phone number, but you definitely have their email. And you can contact your teachers whenever you want. Like, you can contact them on a Saturday at like midnight, and they will get back to you within 5 working days. Through my experience, they always get back to me after like 2 days. And when you first get assigned these teachers as well, they will give you a little intro of them, just so you get to know them a bit better as well. Like, they will tell you their names, they'll tell you their likes and interests, and why they teach that subject, which I really liked, as it just felt like it was more personalised. Like, it felt like I actually knew who my teacher was, even though it's not face-to-face. Like, you still have the interaction with them, and you still get to know them, which I really like. So if you have any questions, then you can email them, and they'll try and get back to you as soon as possible, but it will never be longer than 5 days. So the other day, I got an email saying that my psychology teacher is on annual leave and she'll be back on that Friday. I literally sent my mock on the Thursday, and she replied at like midnight, like Saturday. So she replied, even though she was on annual leave, she replied super quickly, and she replied on a weekend, which I really appreciated. So for the 2 mocks that I've already done, the teachers have been so useful in marking it. I wasn't too sure what to expect by the marking of the mocks, as I was like, is it going to be detailed? Is there not? I have no idea. But both my law and psychology teachers have been so detailed in all their feedback and what went well and stuff. So they graded it, they would highlight like why I got those marks, and my psychology teacher would be like, you got 4 marks for this question, well done. And I was like, thank you. But my psychology teacher even like added a photo of like the grading system as well, and the number of marks that you needed to like for each grade that it is possible, like how many marks you need to get A grade, how many marks you need to get B grade. So I just thought that was extremely useful, because now I can look back and I can kind of study based on that and see, okay, so this went really well, but this didn't go that well, so I need to try and focus more on this, or I need to try and focus more on this. Or, hey, my technique is quite bad in this question, let's try and focus on past papers to get my technique of the question on point. So it's been super useful. Like, I didn't think it would be that useful, but they are amazing, honestly. So in my lessons as well, in the units, they would send like, so you have the information bits, and then they would also have study hints as well. So stuff that will help with studying. They have exam hints as well. So stuff that will help with the exam or what's expected from you in the exam as well. And they also have textbook work. So what stuff you need to do in the textbook, which page it is, which chapter, if you need to answer or do any of the activities or questions there are. And also they have YouTube links as well, like, which I find is super useful, because after a while, like, my concentration goes so like quickly after like 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so. Like, at that point I lose all focus and I start daydreaming and thinking about other stuff instead of my lessons. So the YouTube clips are pretty much like a little break as well, where I don't really have to focus on typing things out or trying to understand it, as the video explains it all very well for you. So the topics in the units and how they are formatted, like for me, it's really good and very beneficial for my learning, because like I said, they give you hints, they give you tips, they will link other resources to you, which I find is really cool. So what I normally do is that anything in the textbook that I tell you to read and make notes on, what I do is that I will read that in the textbook, and then after I will write down on a piece of paper the page and the topic, and I will rather assign these bits for homework. So in my own time, I can then go back, make notes, make little flashcards or mind maps or study guides, and do it that way. And it will also motivate me to actually do work outside of my lessons and to look more into the topic as well. And I will also, with any links to other websites that they link as well in the lessons, I will then pin it on the browser and then print it out and then just highlight the important parts and then make notes on that as well. Okay, so we are now going to talk about how the exams work after the 2 years and the A-level exams. So what happens is that it is up to you to book yourself in for those exams. If you're with a face-to-face college or a public college, then the college will do it for you. But because we're with a private college, which is also online, it's up to me to then register and book my exams. So there is a fee for you to pay for every single exam, I believe. I have briefly looked into it, and also the college provider will also tell you how it works as well. But yeah, there is a fee for what I believe for every single exam that you need to do for every single topic that you're doing the exam for, and you have to try and register and book the exam at least 6 months in advance. So you are guaranteed a spot. So they have different exam centres all over the UK. So there is a chance that you will have one somewhat close to you. I think my nearest one is London, which will literally take less than an hour to get to by train. I think that is a very important factor to mention and to remember, is that if you do want to take your A-levels online, then you do have the responsibility of sorting out and booking all your A-level exams as well. So what I'm doing is that, because I started at such a weird time of the year, because I literally started in January, I'm going to take my exams in May/June of 2025, because I think if I do them next year, then it might be a bit too soon, and I do not want to rush them at all. So I would rather do it in 2025, just so I have more time to do my lessons and to revise. And I do tend to get very stressed very easily, and if I know that the deadline is coming up, then I will stress out about it. So I do want to give myself as much time as possible, just so I can just reduce the chances of me getting stressed and anxious about it. So that is the end of my video today. If you want to know anything more about the A-levels, or you have any video ideas, then please recommend it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, as I would also appreciate it. So I will see you guys on Monday with my next video. Okay, bye. I love you and I hate you, and I hope you feel the same. Come a little closer, baby, please don't